you guys understand that humanity, the very first time I was ever given some medication was actually related to an incident with paparazzi in front of the airport where I wrestled down the same paparazzi that was following with me. And then they sent me the anger management class. I don't want to sign those right now, bro. I'm not going to sign them right now. All right, so they sent me this anger management class, and then the guy just gave me some medication, just like, yo, take this. I had never taken medication my entire life. And one doctor said, okay, this started like this slope or something. And, you know, the interesting thing, they saw the heart text to me. People are looking over. You know, the media has run all these stories smearing me for saying, hey, I can't be anti-Semitic if I'm a Semite. This is how he was rendered. This is a trainer, but come to find out, he was actually Canadian intelligence, but this is my trainer. So this shows you the kind of handlers that are around the superstars in California, right? So it says, I'm going to help you one of a couple ways. First, you and I sit down and have a loving and open conversation, but you don't use cuss words. And everything that is discussed is based in fact, and not some crazy stuff that dumb friend of yours told you, or you saw in a tweet. Second option, I have you institutionalized again, where they medicate the crap out of you, and you go back to zombie land forever. Play date with the kids just won't be the same. This is the way a Hollywood trainer was talking to me to.
They sedated you.
Yes.
Yeah. What was the thought process behind it when you talked to a doctor about this? What did they tell you was wrong with you?
They told me I was bipolar. And I remember going on TMZ and saying, you know, slavery is a choice. And they medicated me for saying that, for having that opinion and saying it out loud. But as I put those contracts up, I'm saying, this is a choice. As I, you know...
you didn't mean people being abducted and brought into slavery and put into chains was a choice. What you were talking about is people making decisions that would enslave them financially and enslave their life.
Yeah.
But it was taken out of context, and it was taken in the least charitable way, and they decided to try to say, look at crazy Kanye, look at this shit he's saying.
Yeah.
And then they medicate you.
Yes.
So in the run-up to this week's midterm elections, there are a lot of celebrities out there campaigning for Democratic candidates all over the country. You probably saw them, actors, singers, TikTok personalities, all doing their part for the Democratic Party. You probably weren't surprised by this. It's normal. Pop culture figures always support Democrats. Every single one of them. But have you ever wondered why all of these supposedly creative people reach exactly the same conclusion every time? They're all on the same page. How could that happen? It's an interesting question. We don't know the answer, but you should consider what happened when one of the most famous singers in the world broke with the herd. On November 19th, 2016, a week and a half after Donald Trump won the presidential election, Kanye West, now known as Ye, held a concert in Sacramento. Most people in the audience were, of course, young people and presumably Hillary Clinton voters and presumably deeply disappointed by her loss a week and a half before. So in the middle of the show, West stopped performing and started talking about politics. Google lied to you, he said, by suggesting to its users that Hillary was going to win. Quote, Facebook lied to you. I'm not here to massage you with a fake truth telling you that Hillary's going to win over and over and over. You were lied to by Google. You were lied to by Mark Zuckerberg. Middle America, West continued, showed you how they felt. Well, at this point, some of the audience began to boo, but West kept going. He complimented Donald Trump repeatedly. At one point, he used the phrase, "Make America Great Again." It was, to put it mildly, not the kind of thing you normally hear at a rap concert. And then, 2 days later, Kanye West was in the hospital. Well, at the house of his family's exercise trainer, a man called Harley Pasternak, West apparently suffered some kind of mental break. Pasternak called an ambulance to pick him up. West was taken away, and then he was sedated with at least 7 different psychiatric medications, including benzodiazepines, lithium, sleeping pills, and olanzapine. News reports suggested that West had experienced a profound psychiatric episode. He'd gone completely off the deep end. He'd gone crazy, and they've been saying that ever since. West, over time, though, told a very different story. In his telling, after what he'd said on stage in Sacramento, Harley Pasternak was trying to shut him up. Pasternak, he said, was not simply a trainer, but instead an agent of ideological control. Pasternak's job was to keep West from straying from the script, and he's willing to use powerful drugs to do it. That's what he said. But very few people took that claim seriously. In fact, it was exactly the kind of thing a crazy person would say. My trainer drugged me into submission. He's trying to make me into a zombie. Right. Sure he did. Have another olanzapine shot, Kanye. You look tired. So that's where the story stood until the other day. Nobody believed Kanye West. Then West posted something remarkable on Twitter, which for some reason virtually all of American media ignored, which is odd because media outlets are not usually in the business of ignoring remarkable things, but they did. And what he posted was a picture of a text exchange that he had had with Harley Pasternak. Pasternak was explaining that West had better stop saying, quote, crazy stuff. In other words, he'd better get back on script, or else he would be severely punished. Quote, second option, if you don't shut up, quote, I have you institutionalized again, where they medicate the crap out of you, and you go back to zombie land forever. Play date with the kids just won't be the same. End quote. Try if you can to imagine a more sinister threat than that, a more chilling threat than that. Do what I say or I will turn your brain to mush. I will destroy your relationship with your own children. I will send you back to, quote, zombie land forever. Effectively, I'll kill you. Now, keep in mind, this is from West's, quote, trainer, not his physician. This is the guy he'd hired to help him do squats. A trainer? Really? Did they talk like that at your gym? Probably not. So what's going on here exactly? Well, according to his bio, Harley Pasternak, who is not denied writing these texts, once worked for the Canadian military, where he participated in experiments that measured the effect of various drugs on the human mind. Is that training relevant to this story? We don't know. We do know that based on this text exchange, which again, Harley Pasternak has not said is untrue or fake, on the basis of that, law enforcement agencies definitely ought to be looking very closely at Harley Pasternak, who, by the way, apparently has dozens of other celebrity clients, some of whom seem to be out there campaigning. Based on these texts, this looks like a crime. Why is no one investigating it? The fact that no one is investigating it tells you a lot.
Okay, shares commentary here again. Everything is my opinion. Things can be allegedly on what I say, but just wanted to touch on this. You say something off kilter, or that you don't stick with the agenda or the establishment or the status quo, so to say. I definitely don't believe that it's right. Even if somebody make a comment or say something that you don't like, whether it's true or false, there's always room for debate. But to medicate somebody because you want them to apologize and not say something that you don't agree with, that's definitely not a good way to go. Psychotropic or psychiatric drugs have lasting effects and a lot of side effects as well. So even people who have never had any mental issues before or ever in their life, you still have those different side effects that occur from that, especially dealing with a family member that has mental illness and working in the medical field, dealing with this. And another thing, at his age, mental illness, really? And y'all know he don't have a mental problem. He's definitely a genius. Again, in my opinion, he is. I mean, Albert Einstein was a genius. He created light bulb. They also called him crazy. But most people who, believe it or not, end up with certain type of mental illness, it starts early on in their life, even whether it's adolescence, or early adulthood, like 20s, right? Mid to early 20s. Not so much in Kanye age, right? But they want to paint the picture that he's crazy, right? They want to make the world believe that he's crazy because he's speaking his truth that he believes, which we all have a truth, and we all have a belief of what we know or what we don't know or what we believe in, and what that we state whether people like it or not. Because it is the First Amendment. We do live in America. It is freedom of speech. We all can agree to disagree. It's always room for debate. But to medicate someone, that is not right. I mean, we always have to think about the rules of law of nature. We always have to think about karma, things we do. It might not come back on us, but it can come back on our seeds, right? So, and also to be mindful to cut somebody off financially because you don't agree with what they say, that is not right. I mean, this man has businesses, he has a family, he has expenses he needs to pay. I mean, money is money, I get that. But to cut somebody off because they don't agree and medicate them, wow, that's a bit much. And allegedly, even a lot of our legends in this video have also suddenly died of overdose from medication. So something to keep mindful of. Let's always think for ourselves and not allow others to think for us and go through with the status quo. Good vibes only, positive over negative. We all experiencing a human experience, and we growing every day from this human experience. Until another day, let's think for ourselves and always be thoughtful.